Let's look to see how we translate words into symbols. Be aware that there is a very special word, the verb is, and all of its different forms, is, was, were, has, have, had. This verb represents the equal sign. So what you read before the equal sign should be written down first, and what you read after the equal sign should show up after the equal sign. Try and write what you read as you read it. Here we have addition words, added to. 8 is added to a number. Write what you read as you read it. In this next one, though, it is a little bit special that we have parentheses around the sum of, because the sum means you must get that answer first. The order of operations will allow us to get that answer first if we use parentheses. So the sum of B and 4 would be written this way. B plus 4 inside parentheses. The word and does not mean to add. It just joins these two terms according to that action, actually summing these together. So and doesn't mean add. The word sum means add. In the word total, we have the same situation. We need that answer first. So the total of 11 and x would also be written inside parentheses. N increased by 5. Write what you read as you read it. -3 plus a number. -10 more than y. There's actually two ways to write that. More than typically should be written the other way, but because we have the commutative property of addition, I can move the y to the back. That way I only have 5 special phrases to remember that have something going on. You can write what you read as you read it, except for sum needs to be in parentheses, total needs to be in parentheses, and now we have some more down here in subtraction that will be special. The first one, which is very special, is subtracted from. In this, we must write things backwards. It says a number, I'm going to start here in the back, a number is subtracted from 12. So I have to write the 12 first so I can subtract n from it. Our next one, the difference between, also has to go in parentheses. Difference means subtract, so the difference between C and 6. Now see that word and showed up again, but it doesn't mean add, it means subtract this time. And is just a conjunction. It just holds C and 6 together so you know which ones are taking the difference between. And again, we write what we read as we read it. I read the C first, so I wrote it, and then the 6. But what's special here is these parentheses to force you to do that subtraction before you do anything else. A number less 9. Write what you read. A number less 9. 17 decreased by a number. W minus 3. All of those we get to write what we read as we read it. But here again, this bold letter less than phrase has to be written backwards. So when it says m less than 6, I need to put the m in the back so that I can make it less from the 6. So 6 subtract m is how we write m less than 6. Here are some words that represent multiplication. Times. 8 times a number. Generally, we don't use a symbol to represent multiplication when we have numbers and variables together. We just write them side by side. The product of 3 and a number. 5 multiplied by a number. Of is a very special two-letter word that does mean multiply. 15% of. Well, we never write percentages in word problems. We translate that into 0.15. 15% of a selling price. P for price, S for selling. I use a variable that represents what it is that I'm trying to find and not just X, which would represent anything. Twice a number is 2 times a number. And the each. 2 gallons each day for a week. So that's 2 gallons times 7 days. So that each could also imply a multiplication. The square of a number is written n with a little 2 in the back as the exponent. The cube of w is w, written with a little 3. And then we have our division words, divided by. Write what you read as you read it. N divided by 7. We tend not to use the line with the 2 dots in algebra when we're trying to do division. We just simply use the fraction bar for divide. The quotient of x and 8. Well, again, I want that answer. The first thing I saw was x, and then divide by 8. So beware, that word and does not mean to add. A ratio. A ratio is nothing more than a fraction, and you write it in the order that it was given to you. 5 to 11. So 5 divided by 11.